this world, in this life, as a guy trying to improve himself on self-improvement, we always think we have to be doing something. Life seems like it's always fast-paced, you know, we're always trying to work, we're always working on our fitness, or we're trying to do some kind of hustle. But what happens to me a lot of the time is I get really caught up in my own head, and I get almost anxious and consumed by that pressure to be constantly doing something. One of the biggest realizations that I may have just had is that it's actually okay to do nothing. See, I'm sitting out here right now, just feeling the wind against my skin. It's kind of cold, and there's like a crazy view out in front of me. And I feel like if I'm sitting around just thinking that it's a waste of time, that I should always be imparting some kind of action on the world to get something out. But I may have just realized that serenity and peace, getting peace from sitting around and just thinking and just observing the scenery, is valuable. Because let's face it, most times when you get consumed, a lot of the times you're really not doing the hard work that you should be doing. You can only train in the gym for so long. You can only work on whatever endeavor you're working on for so long, to the point where then it becomes unproductive and you're just doing shallow work. So right now I could be at home doing some kind of work, but I just found so much value in just sitting out here. Like even now it was just tempting, because I felt like I was just sitting here. This thing, this poison, I felt like I had to go onto it. And after sitting here for 2 minutes without going onto it, I suddenly felt a wave of peace over me. Like I was kind of relieved from that pressure. And it's okay to have the pressure and stress when we're doing the hard work. But a lot of times when we're not doing something that's truly productive, we often just cope, and we often have to find stimulation. We have to be doing something, and whether that's scrolling, whether that's indulging in bad habits, we feel like we always have to be engaged or stimulated. But the most stimulating thing could just be doing nothing, because it allows you to enter into your own thought process, allows you to self-analyze. Because let's face it, when is the last time that you were in true silence? When is the last time that you had time to actually think? In our day and age, we rarely ever hear our own minds. I was thinking about this the other day, and I've proven it to myself right now. There's nobody around. I'm in this nice, quiet town with a beautiful view in front of me, and my mind is actually able to think. I was slowly panning, looking at the horizon, getting new ideas, realizations, and having a general sense of gratitude. And it gave me a wave of peace, and almost like it just cured this anxious feeling. I'm usually somebody who taps, and I have these little things. I'm always full of energy because I'm so overstimulated from the modern world, from being on the phone, from working, from being into fitness. Everything is stimulation, and everything is your mind constantly being switched on. But when I'm sitting here, I just feel zen, right? And it's allowed me to level out my nervous system, feel really content, really calm. So the piece of advice I would give you is to actually be in silence for once. Don't be afraid to do nothing. Like, there is literally nothing going on out here outside of the wind. I cannot hear anything but birds chirping. When is the last time you were in a location where you could just hear the birds chirping? All the time, 24/7, I am chronically addicted to music. I'm listening to music when I'm driving, I'm listening to music when I'm working, I'm listening to music in the gym, and it gets so fatiguing on my brain that I eventually get pissed off in the gym, because I'll listen to hard style and those epic fucking gym montage music things that get you hyped up for your sets. And then after half the workout, it's too overstimulating to me, to the point where I just want to turn it off, and I have to go onto a duller, less hype kind of music. But the point is, I'm always stimulating myself. Then I go into the car, drive home, I'm listening to music. I'm cooking dinner, I'm listening to music. There's ambient sounds that are still very, very loud. But out here, where I'm at right now, it's literally peace. It's quiet. your mind needs time to think too, right? You can't just be go, 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 go. There's a equal and opposite reaction to everything in life. You need some time to rest. And people think that rest and relaxation is by scrolling on their phone, is by doing fun habits. But realistically, doing rest and being relaxed is just doing nothing at all except listening to the ambient sounds, the quietness, the wind blowing. That's what's truly valuable. And I think that for me, when you have so much noise in your head, you cannot even fathom your own thoughts because you're constantly getting in external stuff instilled in your brain. You're constantly getting podcasts, you're constantly getting all these different things drilled into your head, and you think that it's being productive because you're technically not doing nothing. You're doing something, but you can only hold so much information. You probably have all the information and understanding of what you have to do in your head already, right? But you can't execute because you're too stimulated. Everything is overpowering. Our brains are not meant to be constantly bombarded with stuff. That's why we have sleep, because we need to rest. So when you're able to rest in the present, I feel like it can actually give you a bit of, clarity. When you can hear your own thoughts, when you can just sit around and talk to yourself. I've been doing that recently and I feel much more calm. Right now, I feel in a state of relaxation instead of tense. I'm in a rest and digest state, which is valuable to my health, valuable to my mental health as well. Everything improves. So my piece of advice, and what I find valuable, especially every time I've done it, is sit somewhere quiet, preferably somewhere that's not in a location you're familiar with, so you can take in new information. And what I'm doing right now is I'm sitting here on a bench by myself, there's nobody around, but I'm looking at the beautiful horizon. And there's a psychological hack that when you look out into a large, far distance away from you, your mind generates bigger thoughts. Your mind is able to think more ambitiously. And that's exactly what's happening right now, because a lot of the times we're too closed off. Everything is like a metaphor for being closed off and boxed in by the social world, by having our headphones on, bombarding our brain. It's so close to us, by having the phone right in our face all the time, by having people's opinions and voices inside of us, instilled in us constantly. We don't have time for our own brain to think. And especially for young guys who are ambitious like you need time to be zen. That's why you shouldn't be afraid of doing nothing. This is actually valuable. Doing cope stuff like going on your phone or doing other habits is simply not. So I think I'm going to be incorporating this more often, and I think you should too. The action step is to go somewhere you're unfamiliar with, even just a walk. Walking with no music, no phone, in complete peace and serenity, you'll find this weird thing that just happened to me, that I've realized that my mind had time to think, and I almost felt this drop in stress, right? And I can talk freely right now because I'm so just chill. And a lot of the times, like I said, we don't get to enjoy these things, and that is part of life. And I think that to be productive, you need times of doing nothing, just to think. So if you're feeling riled up, anxious, stressed, any type of way where you feel like you need to just reach for your phone for the relief, or reach for some kind of other dopamine source, do nothing. Sit outside. Observe each and every tactile feeling. Instead of just blasting yourself, find peace in the soft feeling of the wind touching your skin, like I'm doing right now. It's fucking cold, but I thought this was super valuable. Bit of a weird realization, but I think this could be beautiful and super helpful for your mental health, for your physical health as well. Because like I said, we're so hyper-fixated on doing something all the time. And with that comes a constant state of stress and anxiety. But I think that if we can calm it down, then we can be more true to ourselves, and we can actually think clearer. And then when we want to be productive, we can be far more effective and efficient. So I hope this helped, and yeah, go outside, even just journal, write down your thoughts. I think it can be truly helpful, like it's doing for me right now.